welcome back to the Poison Counter. This is episode 4. I'm Spencer, and today I'm joined by Joel and Jacob and our good friend Ben.
Hey.
Hello.
Jacob, you've been on it once already, but Ben, tell us your favorite. What did we do for intros?
Card, your favorite color? I don't remember.
Ben, what's your favorite, like all-time favorite format, and what's like your favorite play style?
Favorite format is Pioneer. Playstyle is mid-range because I'm pretty Timmy and I just like to play good cards on curve.
Geez, Ben, you like to play good cards?
Who likes good cards?
Just a deck full of good cards?
All right. So what are we talking about today?
All right. So this episode, we're probably like way past like the point of it being popular, but we're going to talk about Game of Thrones. And we're going to design a set, basically a conspiracy set, but like based on the Game of Thrones and like Westeros.
Game of Thrones, Magic the Gathering, Force Modem. Mortem is the word that I was looking for. Yeah, after we've realized that it was shitty the whole time. Well, not the whole time, but more than we thought initially.
Yeah, it ended worse than anyone could have possibly imagined.
In retrospect, there was a lot that was bad that we thought was probably fine, but was actually bad. You know what I mean? I don't have anything specific, but if you guys do, feel free to jump in.
Is this podcast going to have spoilers?
Yes, so spoiler warning. Let you know now, there will be lots of spoilers, at least. We're going to talk about stuff that, to the end of the show, at least.
Thank you for having a head on your shoulders, Joel, and letting people know.
I haven't seen the last episode or several, so...
All right, yeah, Joel,
don't worry about spoiling it for me.
Mute all of us right now so you can't get spoiled.
I'm going to go run some errands while you guys finish up.
All right. Okay, so to start things off, if you guys were in Game of Thrones and you were a noble house, what would your sigil be? Like, what's on your flag?
Oh, God, I didn't think about this beforehand, which is probably a bad thing. News to all of you guys, and news to me as of yesterday, we have 2 cats now.
Oh.
Yeah. So one of our friends texted us and said, hey, my other friend has 2 cats that they're trying to like basically rescue because one of their neighbors is threatening to shoot them. So would you guys like 2 cats? And Kendra and I talked about it, and now we have 2 cats in the course of less than 24 hours.
I expect pictures.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Pictures are forthcoming as soon as they get out from under the bed.
Oh, yeah. They have to like acclimate or whatever to...
Yeah, they hung out, they explored a little while, and I tried to take pictures, but they never stopped moving for long enough for me to take a non-blurry picture, so I just was like, I'm going to tell them on the podcast. So anyway, my right now may change, but right now it's definitely a cat on my sigil.
2 cats?
2 cats, 2 gay boy cats.
Two gay cats on a field of what?
Oh God, I don't know what else they would be interacting with. So their names are, one of them is Norton, and the other one doesn't have a name, but the people we picked it up from have been calling it Puss Puss. So we're not 100% on board with Puss Puss. We've been thinking about calling them Adam and Steve. We don't really have a lot of other names, so if you guys have suggestions, feel free to pitch in. But anyway, one of them is Norton. The other one needs a name.
It could be a Patreon tier reward.
We could be like Jim Davis and get our cat named Karn.
Name this cat. All right, so you got two gay cats.
Why are they gay? What is the?
Well, we have 2. The text that our friend sent said our friend. You know, there's these 2 cats. They're 2 bonded males.
I've heard enough. I understand. Bonded male
They're
cats.
kinda-
I see.
Yeah, they're also
Okay.
they're a little. They're not like they're kind of old cats. So
they're like old queens, basically.
They're life partners. I see.
yeah, that's that's the vibe that I'm getting from them. They like hanging out together, but they're also okay hanging out not together because they're secure in their relationship. I'm gonna take them to the vet on Friday and get them updated on shots and everything and see what's up
Very
Yep.
cool.
now. And it's a lot.
From what I understand, like the costs level out pretty quickly after the first few months or whatever.
Yeah, honestly, I went to Target today to get litter for them, and I was like shocked that it wasn't that expensive. It makes sense because it's basically just you're buying just dirt for them,
You're
to
just buying
poop it.
sand.
But like $8 for like 40 pounds of cat litter. I'm like, oh, this isn't that bad. All right, I can handle this.
That's cool. I think my sigil would be pretty similar to my Discord image, which is a man that with the face of a bear whose knightly steed is just a bear.
Wait, your Discord image is what's his face, the Henchhammer, right?
Yeah.
But his bear is also him.
Yeah. I photoshopped what's the Eldraine Knight called?
Sir Farron, the Henchhammer.
Yeah, Sir Farron. Yeah, it's Sir Farron, but with the bear's face photoshopped over his face. So it's both of them are the bear's face.
Is that your sigil?
Yeah, that's my sigil.
Nice.
A man with a bear's face riding a bear.
Joel, how do you feel about the card Ulvenwald Tracker?
Ulvenwald which one is that?
It's the card from
It's the fight bear.
Avacyn Restored, and you can pay one in a green and tap him to have two creatures fight. But the art is a dude with a sword, and he's got a bear behind him.
Obviously, it should have been instead of a human shaman, it should have been a bear with a.
The bear is the tracker.
Yeah, the bear
Just
is the
a
tracker.
bear shaman.
The man
Yeah,
is
the
the
bear
one
shaman.
fighting.
I guess they should
Yeah.
both be bears too. That'll be my next project.
That's my that was my avatar on Cockatrice for a long time.
It's real good.
It's good. Fight bear. Rule number 1: don't talk about fight bear.
Fight
Fight bear
Rule number
club.
2: don't try to outrun fight bear. Spencer and Urban, what's your sigil?
And do you want to go or do you want to go last?
I can go.
All right.
Alright, so my sigil is a green turtle on a blue field. Because I like turtles. And if you've ever played Theros Draft with me, you know I never open bombs, unlike Spencer. So my draft deck just ended up being like a pile of Riptide Turtles, because that card's the best card in Theros Draft.
Which one's Riptide Turtle?
That's the 2-mana 0/5 flash.
Oh, is it the best?
Blocks everything.
It
I
blocked.
pass that card every time.
It's the best. It's the best that I get.
Oh no.
Anything that doesn't fly.
Blocks everything.
You know what it doesn't block?
Everything.
You know what it doesn't block?
What doesn't it block?
Anything with flying?
And an escaped underworld charger.
Shoot, it does not.
Yeah, well, black is always highly contested. So
Blocks it once. That's not nothing.
Yeah, that's why you just play white. That's the paper draft secret is you just play white. Sorry, I love it so much. I just keep going back to it.
it
Sorry.
is also highly contested. Blue's the
Yeah.
only color open in our pods.
Reasonable. Blue sucks.
I've had good results. I've drafted it in paper, I think, most of the time. At least in a splash or something.
I guess if it's uncontested, you can kind of just wreck people. Anyway, somewhat irrelevant.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ben, for your contribution.
It's a Ben's a turtle.
Spencer, what is your family crest?
So my sigil would have been an octopus, but there's already a kraken.
You can just have an octopus.
I know, but that's not terrifying.
It's a
Like that
downgrade.
isn't. Yeah, it's a downgrade. Like if someone, I can't be an octopus if there's krakens. Like no one will respect me.
You know somebody's sigil's a flower, right?
But they're respected. It would be like if my sigil was a weed. or some grass.
A weed? A
Like
weed or weed?
It's just actually a weed, like cannabis.
I think if you ask most people like under the age of 25 to just draw up a family crest, that's like 50% of what you'll get though.
That seems accurate.
I'm thinking my sigil should either be maybe a snake or like a Medusa kind of thing, because I'm all about that.
Ooh, a Gorgon.
Yeah, a Gorgon would be really cool. Just like a Medusa head
Yeah.
with a bunch of snakes. I dig that. All right, so we have 2 gay cats, a bear man riding a bear, a
Bear
turtle,
man.
and a Medusa.
On a blue field.
A turtle on a blue field.
All right.
Books. If you read the books, they always say that. Like when they describe the sigils or whatever, they like say what it is and then like the background.
Yeah.
Blank on a blank field.
Oh, I wasn't sure what the blue field part was, but that makes sense now.
Ben was being way more precise than any of us were.
I know.
It's like it's got bears on it.
Shall we move on from now and talk about the set?
In topic.
If you've ever played a conspiracy set, there's 2 of them. And basically the sets are like based in their own like world where there's like a kingdom, there's like royalty, and there's mechanics that are about like overthrowing the royalty, or like everyone's trying to become the monarch to get like a bonus. And you get like benefits because like there's the dethrone mechanic where you attack someone with the highest life total and you get like I think it's like +1/+1 usually. Isn't that right?
It's a counter. I can't remember.
It gets a +1 counter.
Yeah, I think it's a counter.
Yeah, so it just like something happens if I know Marchesa like gives
It's
your
a
things
counter.
+1 counters. I felt like Game of Thrones would translate very nicely into a conspiracy set. So like you draft the set and then you play like a multiplayer game and then you just kind of deal with like the politics of like a free-for-all multiplayer. In conspiracy there's like draft matters cards where when you draft them they do things and they affect like the draft like as you're doing it, which I think is really cool. I like those kinds of cards because like probably one of the best is like the Cogwork Librarian that lets you get to pick 2 cards from a pack.
He's like the cleanest of clean Draft Matters cards. I love him.
Like that card, I think about that card every time I play Sushi Go. Because it's just the chopsticks and it's real good.
That's the one where you take 2 and you put Cog Librarian back in the pack. Is that right?
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, so I feel like Game of Thrones would make a really good like conspiracy set because there's so much like lore and it's like everyone's trying to fight for the crown.
There's a bunch of people fighting each other. It's not just like one person fighting one person. There's not a lot of duels. There's like a lot of like this guy attacks this guy and this guy also cares about what happens. It's like a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, so there's a lot of factions and they're all trying to get the crown.
Alliances and backstabbing and all that shit.
Yeah, all that good stuff.
Were both conspiracy sets like 4-player like pods or whatever? Like I know at least one of them was. I can't remember if they both were.
You draft it like normal and then you just play in a 4-man free-for-all
Okay.
afterward.
Or it sounds like it lends, like Game of Thrones or whatever, lends itself to this style of draft where it's like more than 2 players.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very flavorful.
Yeah, you're like playing politics.
Yeah, that's pretty much like that's the entire show, book, series. Like it's all just people and politics and trying to like, I don't know, win, like get the throne.
I don't know. I didn't make any conspiracies. I don't really like them. I don't know. Did you guys make any actual conspiracy cards?
Did not.
I
didn't,
did not.
Yeah, I didn't think that hard about it. We did make
Great.
But yeah, we did make
I knew I could trust you guys. Yeah, this one I feel like I basically just made a cycle and like a couple of standalones and suggested some reprints, and that was it.
there are like a lot of major and minor houses in Game of Thrones, right?
Right.
We didn't like focus on all of them. We focused on like just a cycle of 5.
Yeah, so there's the War of the Five Kings was like a big like plot point in Game of Thrones. So kind of like a story arc basically. So yeah, I think we should go over like the factions and what we thought their colors would be and the way they like interact with each other, and then we can talk about individual cards from there.
So the 5 factions in this set will be the Lannisters, the Starks, the Targaryens, the Baratheons, and the Iron Islands, or the Greyjoys.
And the Starks.
Starks were second.
Did you say that?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Lannisters, Starks,
I am-
Targaryens, Baratheons, Iron Islands.
Holy shit, I'm out of it.
And that's like roughly the War of the Five Kings.
I've had a beer and a half. This is a lot.
Is Jacob the lightest weight boy?
I am absolutely unquestionably the lightest weight boy.
I think it is a tie between you, Joel, and Jacob.
Just because those Applebee's like cherry lemonades or whatever they were fucked me up.
Applebee's Dollaritas
Yeah.
hit very hard.
I got drunk. That's the first time I can say I got drunk off of like $2.50 worth of alcohol. It was amazing.
Oh my god, dude! So for context, I'm 6'1", and I weigh, depending on the day, between 130 and 140 ish pounds.
And on the humidity.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Joel is maybe 100 pounds.
I'm not as tall as Jacob, but I'm like 110 on a heavy day, I guess.
I don't even know how much I weigh.
Everybody has those days.
That's problematic.
When we were in college, you weighed about as much as I did.
But Spencer?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Did you put on some pounds, Spencer?
Probably.
You seen how much Pepsi this man drinks?
Oh, that's
All
true.
I eat is sugar.
For a long time I never saw Spencer drink water, only sweet tea.
Your poor fucking kidneys, dude. Remember if we can swear on the show or not. It's probably fine.
I already have several times. So
Good.
We're talking about Game of Thrones.
we can wink this out if we need to.
That's fine, whatever.
And we replace it with that noise.
Yeah,
It's
copy and
freaking
paste.
Gruntilda.
We could also just say fuck. Like,
Yeah,
that's fine too.
that's fine. It's our show. All right. Do we want to do mechanics or do we want to talk about the houses first?
Let's talk about house like colors, and then we can talk mechanics.
So the Lannisters are first, and they're white, blue, black. Like they care about wealth a lot because like the Lannisters are very wealthy and they have a lot of power.
Specifically because of their wealth.
Yeah, like they just have a lot of money. So I feel like I wanted a treasure theme with the Lannisters. They make treasure, they use treasure, they bribe people, they sell people, like sell swords and stuff.
They're very loyal to their family, which is very white. They have a lot of power and a lot of money, which is very black. And I don't really know where the blue comes in, to be honest.
So, to give an example, basically Tywin Lannister, his entire career is all about like showing up at the last second and just like ambushing and like winning some battle. Because like
Okay.
he just shows up at the right time and completely ambushes the person, and I don't know.
I guess that, yeah, that tracks. It's like he's strategic, tactical, like he's the kind of guy who would play the card Giga Drowse.
Holy, the one that like taps down stuff at instant speed or whatever.
Yeah, It's 1 blue mana for tap target creature, and it has replicate blue, so you can play it as many times as you have blue, and tap as
What's
many
it called?
creatures as you want.
Gigadowls?
Gigadrowse from the original Ravnica.
It's played in the taking turns deck because it's like kind of a extra turn spell in the early turns.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's a bad opposition.
It's like a scalable opposition.
Bad opposition. Oh god. Yeah. Anyway, he's the kind of guy to play this card.
Sure. Like he would play Gush, no questions asked.
Like Gush is kind of like not really that in his wheelhouse, but it's like he's willing to sacrifice things for a tactical advantage, which is like both blue and black in a sense.
I was gonna say go the pirates first in Wooburg.
Are you on the Pirates next?
Yeah,
All
what's
right.
it? What is it? Gray, Gray Goose? That's not right.
Greyjoy.
Greyjoy. That's it. Gray Goose is a vodka, I think.
I didn't even realize it was the vodka until you said. God damn it.
All right. So the Iron Islands are Grixis, so blue, black, red. That's kind of like the canon pirates in the Magic world. It's like that's what Ixalan did. And they are pirates. Like they live on like a archipelago, and
Ooh, what a big
they're
word.
all about like naval. Thank you. They.
I didn't mean that to be as sarcastic as it was.
Yeah, I have a degree. I can say that word. They're essentially pirates. Their main philosophy in life is why buy something when you can just take it. That is the iron price. So their mechanics or like their theme is all about attacking, and like if you deal damage, you get some benefit. So like raid, that mechanic would be really good for their like faction, and then a lot of like charisma, or I think the card is just called coastal piracy, where like you
Yep.
steal things. Like I mean they're pirates. They do pirate things. They're blue, black, red.
What about is it Targaryen?
Targaryen.
Targaryen.
Hey, let him say it.
I've watched the show before.
I want to hear him say it.
The dragon people, the dragon
Yes,
horse people.
correct.
They are half dragon, half horse.
Dragon horse.
The Targaryens are black, red, green, and this is still the time period where Daenerys has her dragons, but she hasn't yet become like the breaker of chains, like queen of like the Unsullied. Like she doesn't have the army. She's just like the Khaleesi, head of the Dothraki. She has her like army of horse riders, and she has her dragons. That's kind of where she's at in the timeline of this set. I want to say they're like the aggro focused set or focused faction of the set, but every faction is an army. I see in my mind, I see them as the like trampoline, deal damage, fighting kind of army.
Yeah. They're the guys with like the horses and shit, like running you down. Like that's very aggro focused.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm not sure like how much it makes sense for them to have like the cheap like 1, 2, 3 drops, but like curving out on people.
The ones who want to like curve from 2 to 5 really hard or something, right?
Right. Yeah. I feel like they're more mid-rangey focused.
Yeah, but it's like an aggro mid range. Like in 4-player or whatever, like an aggro. That's what like an effective aggro is going to look like. Like even a go wide is going to want to like build up.
True. Yeah. You need some big old beaters.
Yeah.
So next is the Baratheons, and they are white, red, green, or Naya. In this timeline, Stannis and Renly are both like the head of the Baratheon armies. So they're both in charge, and they're kind of like fighting each other. I was thinking for the Baratheons, they'd be like the go wide army. So like Renly would be like the green white Selesnya, make a bunch of tokens.
Yeah, he's the like inspire loyalty in all of your followers kind of guy.
Yeah, like everyone wants to follow Renly. He's the most comely. Everyone likes him. He should be king, even though he's the youngest. But then then Stannis would be red white because he's all about like R'hllor and the Lord of Light and like that kind of culty.
Weird religious fervor is very red white. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's red white and he's like religious fervor. He's sacrificing his own men. So like there's kind of that aristocrat theme on his side of the shard.
Yeah, there's definitely some black stuff going on there, but like it's the intent behind it is like because it's more religious, it's more red than black.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I like that. All right, so that's the Baratheons. Like, even though they're two different armies or like factions, basically within the same like name, I think they could still like play well together because one of them would make tokens, and then the other one is like, oh, sack a creature, and like you make tokens and you can sack them.
I kind of like that, having like two different characters like be the heads of the faction. I don't know if that would be if you could make like kind of a captain and a co-captain for each faction or not, or if it
you could get close. You could get close. It's not like because of the lore is more like nuanced than that. You can't like make like direct analogs like that, like you could with like the guild leaders and the maze runners in like Return to Ravnica.
Right, that's what I was thinking. Or even like original Ravnica had like the, I don't know what they would be called, but like the guild leaders and then the guild champion or something.
Right, yeah, you had like your
I'm thinking of like Ghost Council and like Teysa. That's the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that's better. Thank you.
Well, what guild were you thinking of?
Golgari, because I never think of anything
I
else.
don't remember those nerds. It's fine.
That is true, Jacob. He has been Golgari since day one. Has never strayed from that path.
I've played a little blue here and there. I've played a little black by itself.
Golgari day one. What's a motto to live by? Holy cow.
I've never been Boros in my whole life. Sorry, Beth.
Boo.
All right, so the final army, the final faction, everyone loves them, the Starks. In this set, they're going to be white, blue, green, or Bant. They're all about like honor. When I was thinking about them, I kind of was picturing like summoning your bannermen, so like kind of collected company, like that kind of theme. And then they also have like wolves, and they're all about fighting, so they would have like the fight mechanics.
Why are they Bant though? Like what's blue about them?
They live in the north and it's cold as
They
fuck.
live in the north, so they are very cold.
Okay.
It's like what's blue about the teamer in Tarkir?
All right. You picked the most extreme example.
Could just be Gruul. That's how I've justified it to myself.
It's Gruul but cold.
Exactly.
It's cruel but cold.
It's teamer, but it's white.
I see. So it's they're green white but cold. I see.
Yeah, green, white, and cold as fuck, dude.
so the Starks are blue white. They're about justice and following the law and honor, but they are also cold as fuck. So they're blue.
Perfect. Do you want to start with like kind of set mechanics or like a general idea of what each faction could kind of try to be doing in this set?
So Ben made some cards for us. Let's just start with like the Lannisters and like some of the cards that we made for them.
The leader of House Lannister is Tywin Lannister, and we went through a few iterations Went through a few
Don't worry about
iterations
that, don't worry
of
about that.
Tywin, but what we came up with is Tywin is revel in riches because the Lannister theme is like caring about money and winning by just like exerting your wealth, like your vast difference in resources over your opponents. So if any of our listeners don't know, revel in riches lets you win the game if you start your upkeep, I think, with 10 treasures.
Yep.
And whenever a creature an opponent controlled dies, you generate a treasure. But we also gave Tywin Flash. He's like real sneaky, and you can't plan to like stop him. So if you have 10 treasures and like 5 or 6 mana, I'm not sure what we costed him at, you could just win the game at any time.
You did not cost him, which is good because that's not what this podcast is about.
Yeah, that's for Gavin Bearhay to decide.
Okay, I don't really want to express too much distaste for Gavin.
No, he's gonna hear this podcast. You can't talk about it.
That's why I said I don't want to express too much distaste for Gavin. I appreciate the work that he does. I just think he's a weeb. That is all.
Said you say that like it's a bad thing, Jacob.
How is he a weeb?
I don't know. I just read a thing. I read a thing on his Tumblr about how he went to a Japanese restaurant. He took their shoehorn home because he thought they were giving it to him as like a gift.
What's a shoehorn? What?
Basically, a long stick with a groove in it, and you put it in your shoe like it's really long. So like you stick it in your shoe while you're standing up, and then you can like slide your shoe in instead of like sticking your thumb back in the like the collar of your shoe, sliding your shoe on. You just use the big stick to do it.
Oh, it's like a thing to let you put your shoe on without.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll send you a link.
I already don't care. It's fine. I thought it was like some sort of, because you said restaurant. I assumed it was like an eating utensil. No, what? Don't. Okay, I see. Oh, so they handed it. Okay, at least that gives
They handed
context.
it to him.
They handed.
He
it
didn't
to
know
him.
what it was,
He was like, I don't know.
so he took it home.
Okay.
And they did not say anything. They just
Like,
looked
alright,
confused.
He's gone.
Anyway, I think because of his position in Wizards, I view him more as a meme than he actually is. So, Gavin, if you're listening, which you probably are, but whatever. I appreciate that Battle Bond exists. It's one of my favorite sets of all time. All right.
Okay. We're gonna keep talking about the Lannisters. So Tywin is a revel in riches with Flash, which is pretty crazy because you can just like win the game out of nowhere, which is kind of like how Tywin operates. Just he's all about surprising his opponent. And so the other Lannisters, I kind of wanted Cersei to basically Cersei is no mercy, kind of like the 7 mana Teysa.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Basically, you don't want to attack into Cersei. And she's probably blue-black are her best colors. She might just be mono-black, honestly.
She's look, this is how I struggled with this, is because Game of Thrones is so nuanced. There's a lot of Cersei that's red because she does a lot of things strictly for passion. Like she's like, I love Jaime, so I'm gonna do some bullshit, or I love Joffrey, so I'm gonna do some bullshit. It's like that's very red.
Yeah.
So she's not like strategic all the time. Sometimes she just like does a thing.
She does stuff with no thought to the consequences. Kendra just says from the other room, "Are you talking about me?" Talking about Cersei. If she was a Magic the Gathering card. We're not talking about you at all.
What kind of magic card is Kendra?
Kendra? I don't know. What kind of Magic card are you, Kendra?
I don't know. I can't even make a well-informed joke about it.
We'll have to get you more informed.
She could be the next episode.
Yeah. You'll be in our next episode, right?
Okay.
All right.
What's your next episode? Just friends that we have.
Our friends is magic cards.
All right.
One's sleeping on the couch.
What else do we have for the Lannisters?
We've got Tyrion Lannister, and I kind of imagined him as a Guafa, the bribery counter guy.
Oh yeah, dude. That's okay.
That's
Wait, that's
Tyrion
sick.
to a T.
I love that.
Like in the entire series, he pays like a sellsword Braun
Braun with N's.
Bronn.
Braun. So the entire series, he's like, all right, Braun, fight for me. If anyone ever like pays you to betray me, I will pay double. Like, I will pay you to be loyal to me. The Guafa kind of thing, the bribery, that kind of just fits Tyrion to a T. So basically, like, Tyrion will sack a treasure and either like give a bribery counter like Guafa, or maybe just like sack a treasure, target creature can't attack or block. Maybe like can't attack you or like can't block your stuff. Just kind of something like that.
That's so sexy. I love that.
Yeah, I like that. Like in multiplayer, that's really good to like they had, I think it was Commander, they have like those auras that you can put on other people's stuff, and they'd all have the clause that like they can't attack you or something.
Yeah.
Or can't attack or block with just your stuff.
There's also the entire goad mechanic from Conspiracy 2. Yeah.
It's basically goad, but like with money.
It's like reverse goad. It's like you can't attack or block as opposed to you have to attack.
He's kind of like Guafa. And then we also have Peter Baelish, Petire Baelish, however you want to pronounce that.
It's Peter. It's just Peter. I don't know why the fuck they spelled it P-E-T-Y-R. It's just Peter.
So I pictured Peter as basically Rhystic Study, but instead of drawing a card, you make a treasure. So like when someone casts a spell, they can pay 1. If they don't, you make a treasure. Very simple, very clean.
Yep, that's really cute, and I love it.
Kingdom Hearts.
I've thought about that every single time I've thought about this set. Gonna be real.
Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts. Simple and clean is the way.
Utada.
Making me
Good old
feel
Utada.
I'm sorry for singing. I have had enough to drink that I'm willing to do that.
Jacob is deep in his cups.
1 3/4 drink. What is this? What are you up to?
I've just finished my second. I'm not going to get another one.
All right, do we want to talk about the cycle of ascendancies?
Yeah.
Oh yes, Ben, hit it.
Yeah, so each house will have like an ascendancy, kind of like in Tarkir. Ben, go ahead, talk about what the Lannister one.
Sure. So when I was conceptualizing like the concept of house ascendancies, I pretty much just took the house words and tried to capture the essence of the house in enchantment, pretty much. So the Lannister house words are Hear Me Roar, which is the name of the Lannister ascendancy, and Lannisters just really want to manipulate the battlefield, make people attack, but also not get attacked themselves. They want to like try to turn people against each other, make them fight. So Hear Me Roar is an enchantment that makes your opponent's creatures attack every single combat, but it's also Norn's Annex in that it taxes your opponents if they want to attack you.
That's so cute, dude.
That feels very like encapsulating, I guess.
Don't worry about the balance. We're just trying to capture
Look,
the flavor here.
You can cost that. You can cost that high enough that it's balanced. Like it's fine. Don't worry about that. Are they? I have a question though. Are they using Phyrexian mana, or do they have to pay white mana? Or are you good? Or do you word it? Do you word it like they can pay white or 2 life to attack you, like cheaters Phyrexian mana?
Yeah, we were probably just gonna do cheater Phyrexian mana because we didn't want to introduce Phyrexian mana into the set.
Good. the Phyrexians invade Westeros.
Would make such a better ending probably.
You're not wrong.
Instead of the Night King, it's just the freaking
The
Phyrexians.
Phyrexians the whole time. It was Nicol Bolas. We swear.
So yeah, that's the Lannisters. They're all about manipulating your opponents into fighting each other instead of you. They're all about gaining advantages through treasure production and taxing. And that's just kind of how they are in the show.
So the loose kind of house mechanic that I have, and so I've only watched parts of the show, so a lot of these, whether that's for flavor, for balancing, you can kind of tweak and stuff. But I have a mechanic called funding for the Lannisters, which is, I think it's kind of a static or a scalable kind of thing. So it would say until your next turn, put a bounty on a player, and until your next turn as the Lannister player, whenever a player attacks the bountied player, that player gets a treasure token, and it could I would assume it would probably be for one or more creatures attack, you get one treasure token.
Aww.
So you're yeah. So you put a bounty on a player and be hey, if you attack that player, you get a treasure token or something.
It's like Curse of Opulence or whatever it's
Yeah,
called.
Curse of Opulence, where the guy's has gold falling out of him.
Yeah, that's dope.
I have a mock-up card for as an example of the mechanic. It's called Trial by Combat. It's Esper, so white, blue, and a black for sorcery. Destroy target creature with power less than the greatest power among creatures in play. And then funding. Until your next turn, that creature's controller has a bounty. So whenever that player is attacked by one or more creatures, the creature's controller creates a treasure token. So you kill a player's guy, and then until your next turn, whenever they're attacked, the attacker gets a treasure token.
Yeah, that's dope. I like that. I don't know how well it works as a whole mechanic, and if set wise,
What's the next house? It's the Grey Goose Islands.
Yep. So the next faction is the Iron Islands. They're blue, black, red, and they're the Greyjoys.
So the leader of House Greyjoy for at least a very short period of time at the beginning of the story is Balon Greyjoy, the Lord Reaper of Pike. He is super obsessed with old Pike and how the Ironborn used to raid and take all their stuff, and he's really obsessed about not paying money for stuff. He wants to steal stuff. When his son came back to his castle after many years and had a gold necklace, he was like, how'd you get that necklace? Did you pay the iron price or gold? Since his son bought that necklace, he was less of a man or something. So Balon Greyjoy's abilities kind of reflect that about him. So he has a triggered ability whenever he deals damage to a player. You get a few options, so you can choose one. You can either draw a card or gain control of an artifact that player controls, or maybe just make a treasure. That kind of encompasses him as a character.
Oh yeah, dude, that's super flavorful.
Balon Greyjoy had a couple of brothers, and one of the cooler ones was Aeron Greyjoy, also known as Damp Hair, because he always goes in the ocean and his hair is wet. That's canon, by the way.
He's called Damp
They're
Hair.
just wet all the time.
His hair is damp. They call me Bristleback on account of I got bristles on my back.
So another one of kind of the Greyjoy sayings is, "What is dead may never die." They worship a god called the Drowned God, and when they get baptized, they kind of get drowned in baptism. You get sent under the water, and your lungs are supposed to fill with salt water, and then they revive you, and you're supposed to be reborn as an Ironborn. So Aeron, I kind of gave him the Micaiah's text. So other Greyjoy's creatures you control have +1/+1 and have Undying. This kind of supports the Greyjoy aggro theme. It lets you attack more freely you don't have to worry about your stuff dying so much because it'll come back and it'll be stronger. And it also kind of fits. We've already seen a mechanic like this in Grixis with the original Marchesa from Conspiracy.
Oh yeah, she was Grixis. Okay, yeah.
Was it like your stuff has dethrone, and if it dies with like a counter on it, it comes back or something?
Yeah, it's like reverse undying.
Yeah, that sounds real strong. That does sound like a good way to like make creatures easier to attack with.
Sticky. Yeah, that's dope. It supports like if you're putting raid in there, like that supports raid super well.
Raid was definitely a mechanic that me and Spencer were talking about as a Greyjoy house mechanic before Joel came up with whatever he came up with.
I just used raid.
He just used raid. Nice.
I tried to make like original mechanics for all of them, but like I don't know if Greyjoy is just like a small enough house that there's only so much information on them or whatever, but I just used raid.
Have you guys listened to any of like Maro's podcasts or like read any of his articles about the design of Ixalan?
No.
He basically was like, all right, so we got these pirates, right? And we're trying to figure out a mechanic for them. We want something that's kind of like raid. And they like tried like 4 different options. And then somebody in a meeting was basically like, you know what's kind of like raid? Raid. Why don't we just use raid? And then they did.
Was raid just used in Tarkir before or something?
Yeah, it was the Marty mechanic.
They were just like fuck it, let's just use it again. Whatever.
Yeah. After like spending like 2 weeks like trying to figure out what to do instead of raid, they were like, well, we want something that's like raid. Raid is like raid. Mara talks about that a lot. Like sometimes you try to think of a new mechanic. You're like, hey, what can blue do besides draw cards for this card? Maybe they should just draw cards. It's just like, it's simple, it's easy, it makes sense to people. Just reuse the mechanic. It's fine.
Like even for experienced players or like guys who have drank the Kool-Aid really hard all the time for Magic, like not everything has to be like shiny and new. Like people are okay with you using stuff that they know already, as long as it's not like the whole set.
Yeah, I am a self-professed drinker of the Kool-Aid.
I heard that phrase once from like a guy who like relatively recently got into Magic, like I guess post college or whatever. He was like, like I kind of just like really drank the Kool-Aid and got really into it all at once.
If you're familiar with the happenings of Jonestown at all, it was actually Flavor Aid.
Oh,
sorry
what?
to burst your bubble.
It wasn't name brand.
No, the name brand was Flavor Aid.
No,
Sorry.
that's awful. Why would they cheap out?
Picture any cult. Like, if you're gonna do a mass suicide, do you really want to pay that much for it?
What are you saving the money for?
To give to something? I don't know. It's flawed logic. Don't look at me.
I assumed like the guy was like, all right, we're all doing a mass suicide except me. I'm gonna take the funds and go.
Yeah, I actually don't really. I'm not familiar enough with it to know what happened to Jim Jones, actually.
Anyway, the mocked up card that I have for this, I'm like actually kind of proud of it. Creature, it's called Waterwings Weston. I pulled like a Iron Islands guy off of Google Images, and I didn't know which character it was, so I named him. It's 3 hybrid blue-black, hybrid blue-red for a 2/2 creature seaman.
Say that again?
Seaman, like sailor, but seaman.
He's a human seaman.
Keep saying it and it won't get any better.
I don't know what you're laughing at. It's fine.
His name is Euron.
Well, the picture is just like a guy like looking off into the distance in front of a boat. And I have just a 2/2 with raids, and he says,
Uh-oh.
whenever Waterwings Weston enters the battlefield, if you attack this turn, draw a card for each creature that died during combat.
Man, the double hybrid triggers me a little bit, but that's a good card.
Is it just like messy or something, or?
That's fucking weird, dude. They tried that in Shards of Alliance, or not in Shards of Alliance. I don't remember. Anyway, they did cards that had like a single color and then also a hybrid cost. Like looking at that card just made your brain bleed. Like it was bad.
That's fair. I kind of just put mana cost on it.
All right, let's get back on track.
Thank you, Spencer. Let's keep going.
Ben, tell us the ascendancy of this faction.
The Greyjoy house words are "We do not sow," which pretty much just means like they're not gonna farm, they're not gonna make their own stuff. They're just gonna go beat up the farmers and take their stuff. So this is an enchantment that has raid. At the beginning of your end step, if you attacked with a creature this turn, target opponent discards a card into exile. You may cast that card until you exile another card with "We do not sow," and you may spend mana as though it were any color to cast that card. So this is kind of a mashup of Raider's Wake plus like any blue-black steel effect plus red impulsive draw.
It's like Hostage Taker.
If you're familiar with that Eldraine card, it does that. Like you thought to someone, and then you just get to cast the card that you take.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the hybrid blue-black thing.
Yeah. Covetous Urge.
Yeah, that's sick. I like that. I like that it's not like immediately, like, because they could discard like a land, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
But like they can only do that for so long. Like it's incremental advantage, and you could cost it pretty aggressively.
Man, that's a really strong card.
Ascendancies are powerful.
I like that. That's a good like mythic rare.
I think it could be a rare.
Uh,
It's 3 colors, Jacob. It's fine.
Yeah, I guess it could
I
definitely be a
mean,
rare.
rarities don't really matter if you're doing a set cube kind of thing like this.
Right. So that's the Ironborn. They're pirates. They take your stuff. The next faction is the Targaryens, which is led by Daenerys at the time. They're black, red, green. So Daenerys Targaryen, Stormborn. Legendary creature, Targaryen noble. So she says, dragon spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. And then when she enters the battlefield, search your library for a dragon creature card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. So basically, she just like goes and gets her dragons, and they're cheaper to cast. And Ben, do you want to talk about her 3 dragon babies?
So, one of the things about Daenerys is if you play her, you can immediately curve her into the 5-drop dragon the next turn. So the smallest dragon is Viserion. He's the red dragon out of the trio. And he is a 5-mana 5/5 legendary creature Targaryen dragon. He is flying and haste. And when he attacks, he deals 4 damage, but you can divide it however you want.
Hold on.
He's like Glorybringer, but way better.
God damn it. What the fuck?
It's like Glorybringer, but way better, because that card's not good enough.
No, it gets better. This is only the first dragon.
This is only the first dragon.
5/5 flying haste.
5 mana 5/5. Yes.
You made Inferno Titan fly, and you made it cheaper, and you gave it haste.
He's just a
Jesus.
Thundermaw Hellkite
Jesus
variant. That's
H.
all.
Christ.
He's a dragon.
This is just power creep. Don't worry about it.
That is not power. That is power leap, not power creep.
No, this set's coming out in 2025. It's fine.
God damn it.
It'll
All
be
right.
up to par.
All right. You know what?
He's so
I've
he's
won.
so
We
upset.
can
want
tweak
to-
the numbers if you really
Now is
want.
not the
Don't worry.
time. Now is not the time. We're
He
tweaking
wants
the
to
numbers.
beat.
Continue. Sorry. Jesus.
Right.
What the?
So that's dragon baby number 1.
All right. So the next dragon is a green dragon. It's a Rhaegal, and he costs 4 and 2 green for a legendary creature Targaryen dragon. He is flying and trample. He's a 6/6, and when he ETBs, he fights a creature.
You know what? That's a fine rare. I like that.
All right, yeah. I figured they couldn't all be OP, so
It's like that uncommon from Theros, but it flies. That's fine.
and it's way larger.
I mean,
Still like a bomb, like in most limited sets. Yeah.
yeah, that means it's a fine like mythic.
It's basically Slain Mantis from Unstable.
Oh my god, I love that card.
Still better. It flies and has trample. Wait, does Slaying Mantis have flying? It just jumps really high, doesn't it?
It has just a second. As long as this spell is on the stack, players can't move cards on the battlefield. It enters the battlefield by being thrown from a distance of at least 3 feet. and it fights each creature that it touches when it enters the battlefield. Same mantas.
It's
The
just
great
Randy
version
Orton
of-
as a magic card.
It's doing the elbow. Like,
The elbow drop.
whatever that move's called, is that the pile driver? The elbow, drop?
I'm not sure.
That's
It's
not
just
a pile
doing
driver,
that.
but yeah, it's doing that.
So that's dragon number 2.
Right. Dragon number 3 is the biggest of the Targaryen dragons, and he's the black one. He's Drogon. He cost 4 and 3 black for a legendary creature Targaryen dragon. He's a 7/7 with flying, and when he enters the battlefield, destroy each creature you don't control with CMC 3 or less. So he's consumed the meek on a
Ooh.
stick.
That's very 1997 like demon magic card. Maybe not. They might not have been doing demons at that point. But like when they brought back demons, that's kind of what they were doing.
It would have been like 11 mana, and it would have like had some huge downside.
It's kind of Dread Cacodemony. I don't even know how to pronounce that card.
The one that like breaks their hand or something, or like, hand attacks them or something.
No, it's Dread Cacodemon enters the battlefield. If you cast it from your hand, destroy all creatures your opponents control. Then tap all other creatures you control.
Oh, okay.
But it's 10 mana. Pretty sick, actually.
I like each dragon being one of the 3 Jund colors.
Yeah.
Were those all of the Targathian critters that you had? Or did
Targaryen.
you have any other character?
Eventually, you're gonna say it, and you're gonna say it right.
The Targathians.
Are those all of the Targaryen
Yep.
creatures that you had?
Yes.
I've watched this show before. I know what the Game of Thrones
Yeah,
is.
That's
There you
all
go.
the creatures we made. So
We got there.
I also had a dragon as like a mechanic mock-up card, but I don't know. I like Ben's better, like having them have like be distinguished legendary creatures as opposed to just like a dude with a keyword on it like I have. Or the mechanic that I had for these guys is Stoke, which is just kind of a synonym for Devour, because I didn't want to just use Devour, but and Stoke is kind of just it's like Devour, but there's some wiggle room, but you can sacrifice any number of non-land permanents or any kind of permanent like at once, and then it like scales with the number of things that you sacrifice. I have an example, which is Big Bertha, because I don't know the names of the dragons. And it's 4 and Jund, so 7 mana for a legendary creature dragon. It's got flying and haste, and then Stoke. What is it? When Big Bertha attacks, you may sacrifice any number of non-land permanents, and then Big Bertha deals X damage to each creature defending player controls, where X is the number of permanents you sack this way.
All right.
So you can kind of just go and like wrath their board.
That's pretty dope.
I feel like this kind of effect is good in that it's like flexible. It plays well with like other cards in the set that might be making tokens or might be like sacrificing or wanting to sacrifice other permanents.
Yeah. Like the picture that you used, I think, is a scene from the last season, but that's wet way.
Good. It's just a dragon torching a city block with people in it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I think it kind of lends itself to this tribe because it's like kind of an explosive mechanic, and it's useful for like the aggro like critters that want to apply pressure quickly.
I like that.
All right, Ben. What's the ascendancy of the Targaryens?
the Targaryen's house words are Fire and Blood. It's an enchantment that gives your attacking creatures trample and +X/+X, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. So it's pretty much a static, overwhelming stampede.
Yeah. But-
just from that card
but-
name, you kind
but-
of get Dothraki vibes.
But it can't be 3 mana. Dear God, that cannot be 3 mana.
It's fine.
Well, so hear me out.
Sure.
What if it's like Berserk? Like maybe one thing gets real big, but then you sack it.
Okay. That's still a 3 mana overwhelming stampede. A card which is a rare and costs 5 mana.
Maybe they get +X/+O.
What part of it is black at all?
It's 3 different colors.
Mechanically.
The House Targaryen is black. Have you not been listening?
All right. I will register my issues with this card privately later.
They want that throne. They want that throne so bad.
It's good then.
It's a good mechanic for the. I almost called it clan, but it's not clan. What do they call it? Houses. Jesus, fuck.
The clubs. A bunch of different clubhouses.
All right.
They're all clubhouses. All right, so that's 3 down, 2 to go. So next is the Baratheons. So they're led by Robert Baratheon. He's still alive in this set. I'm giving him a card. I don't care. Fight me. Do you know how in Conspiracy, like, there's so many cards that say, like, you become the monarch or care about, like, becoming the monarch? I kind of wanted an usurp theme or mechanic in the Baratheons. I've got Robert Baratheon, and whenever you attack the monarch, target creature you control can get, like, double strike, trample, or indestructible. So kind of like how Gideon Blackblade does it. He can, like, give something, like, a choice of a couple of keywords. I kind of liked Robert being like, if you attack the monarch, here's a bonus. Here's a way to help you become the monarch.
It makes sense with, like, calling it usurp.
Is that going to be the flavor of Dethrone?
Yeah.
Attacking the monarch is different than attacking the guy with the highest life total,
It's kind of like Dethrone. It's kind of different. It's just like, it only cares if you are attacking the monarch.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, because Dethrone was specifically, like, highest life total. The other 2 heads of the Baratheons are Renly Baratheon and Stannis Baratheon. I kind of pictured Renly as, like, a token producer, kind of in the same vein as Hero of Bladehold. He's all about getting people to fight for his cause. He's just so well liked. Everyone loves him.
Yeah.
So he's just all about, like, making tokens, I guess. Like, he makes a bunch of soldiers. Like, he's very green-white, go wide, make a bunch of tokens. And then Stannis Baratheon, at this point, he's very much into the religious cult of the Lord of Light, and he's met Melisandre. And so he is very, like, aristocrat, sacrificing things to gain power, just to give him an advantage to win at any cost. And so he's very, like, red-white, like, religious zealot.
What's the ascendancy for this look like?
So I made the ascendancy for the Baratheons. If you remember the unstable card Party Crasher,
Oh, yeah.
it's some goblin, and it can attack on everyone's combat step. I kind of like an ascendancy where after each combat, you get another combat, or at least, like, one thing of yours can untap and attack.
He just wants to fight all the time.
I really like that idea, because, like, that's all the Baratheons are about. They just like fighting. At least Robert does. That's all he wants. That's all he's ever wanted. Like, when he was king, that's all he cared about. The name of the ascendancy, the Baratheons, like, motto is "Ours is the Fury," and that kind of fits that same, like, combat-centered theme. That it feels like a nightmare to template that card, but, like, basically, after every combat step, you have an extra combat step
Whoa.
where something can attack.
That is a rules nightmare and also an insanely good card.
Gotta be good. It's gotta compete with 3 mana overwhelming stampede.
You know what? Just put them both in the same goddamn deck.
That's fine.
Four color Targaryen Baratheon.
I'm gonna draft 4 color every combat step. You can attack and you have overwhelming stampede.
I mean, in a format with, fetch lands and dual lands, you can make it work.
Probably. I think, like, since each faction is its own shard, I wanted, like, kind of adjacent shards to have at least somewhat synergistic themes or mechanics with it. So, like, right, so Lannisters have, like, the funding thing where stuff happens when you attack the bounty guy, and then the Iron Islands guys have raids, so which, like, benefits from you attacking. Those kinds of themes interact or whatever.
Right.
The mechanic that I had for Baratheons were heresy, kind of based on that religious zealot thing that they have going on. It's kind of like a loose aristocrats theme. I didn't like work out anything really specific. Thing I had was Doomed Associates. It's 3 in a red for a creature. It's a 3/1 with First Strike and Heresy, which says when Doomed Associates dies, creatures you control get +1/+1 until the end of the turn. It kind of like does the aristocrats and go wide thing.
Yeah, well, it's kind of weird to name a mechanic that's just like when the thing dies, do a thing.
Yeah, that's what it, like I couldn't come up with like a really like interesting template.
Yeah, I mean it's very like it's very Hearthstone-y, you know what I mean?
Death Rattle or something.
Yeah, Death Rattle.
All right, one last Baratheon card. We've got the Red Queen, Melisandre. So Melisandre, the Red Woman, Stannis' real queen. So she's mono red, and she has pay a red mana, tap her, sacrifice another creature, and you get to choose one of a couple of abilities. So she's very modal. So you can either scry 2, deal 2 damage to any target, or create a token that's a copy of target creature card in your graveyard. It gains haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. So she has that Felden of the Third Path ability, where he like makes a copy of a thing in your graveyard. Basically, you sack a thing, and you can either scry, deal damage, or make a hasty token.
She kind of gives me Recurring Nightmare vibes.
Yeah, for sure. But she's mono red. she is very red. That's her main attribute.
Yeah, I mean that card like kind of makes sense in mono red, honestly.
That's like sneak attack, Felden.
More Felden than anything.
Sure. So that just leaves the Starks, everyone's favorite house. So for the Starks, they're very like honor based. I don't know. They're all about fighting. They're all about chivalry. They're all about like fighting with your like brothers in arms.
We'll start with Lord Eddard Stark. He is 1 green, a white, and a blue for a 3/3 legendary creature Stark Noble with Vigilance. And he has a tap ability that says, sacrifice Lord Eddard Stark. Look at the top 6 cards of your library, put up to 2 Stark creature cards from among them onto the battlefield, put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So he is collected company for Starks. And the flavor of this card is his imprisonment and death is what mobilizes the northern troops to gather and march upon the south. So that's kind of what his card does.
That's cool. I like that. It heavily incentivizes just being Starks and not really like screwing around with too many other people.
So after Ned Stark dies, his son Robb Stark takes over as head of the household. So he is 2 a green, white, and blue for a 4/4 legendary creature Stark Noble. He also has Vigilance, and he's just an anthem. So other creatures you control get +1/+1. He inspires his troops. He's named like first king in the north in hundreds of years. So like his troops are very inspired by his presence on the battlefield. And he has a tap ability where he can create Greywind, a legendary 2/2 wolf creature token.
Cool.
And it immediately fights a target creature you don't control.
He's very Tulsamir.
Right, that's what I was thinking of, yeah.
It's kind of a combination of old and new Tulsamir.
He's one of the more fleshed out characters in like the first part of the show.
He's nearly a man grown.
All right.
Right, so what's the ascendancy for the Starks?
So the Starks' house words are Winter is Coming. So that's the name of their ascendancy. And it says Stark creatures you control have Battle Cry.
Ooh.
So for those of you who don't know, Battle Cry is whenever this creature attacks, each other attacking creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. So this is kind of incentivizes you to get a lot of creatures out and attack. It kind of represents the strength of a wolf pack. The more there are, the stronger each member becomes.
Think and do.
Think and do, not hunt in groups.
NC State University. Oh, Wolfpack.
That's the NC State University words.
Okay, not go for the jugular.
Think and do. It's one word.
American ascendancy for those words.
Yeah, what's the NC State ascendancy? Yeah, having all of your creatures have battle cry is like people will die very quickly.
That's pretty similar to like the mechanic that I was toying with anyway, or for the Starks kind of group like justice thing. I had one called Avenger, or I was also toying with the phrase Doggo Justice.
All right.
Like Avenger N is at the beginning of your upkeep. If another player was attacked since your last turn, creatures you control get +N until the end of the turn, and you create N 2/2 wolf tokens. I don't know how well like creating tokens would come into play for these guys, or whether you just want to buff the team, or do you like the battle cry idea where they just want to attack as a group?
Yeah, for sure. They're all about like being a group, a unit, attacking together.
Yeah, the mock-up that I had was just like an enchantment. I called it like Aspect of the Pack, where it's 2 and Bant, so 5 total, and then it just has Avenger 2. You potentially get +2/+2 on your turn for your team, and you get tokens additionally.
Yeah, that feels pretty strong. It gives incentive to like not attack you.
Do you think that would cause like too much of a stalemate where it's like, well, I don't want to attack Ben if Spencer's team is going to get huge and bigger? The hope anyway was to like play off the multiplayer dynamic.
Potentially.
I think it'd be interesting to like play off of like a Lannister player who wants people to attack or other people, and then you're like avenging wrongdoing.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to end it. I think we've said all the things we want to say. Thanks, Ben, for joining us today. Thanks for everyone who's listening. Be sure to check out our Patreon if you liked what you hear and you want to support us.
And say bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. See you next time. And
That's Craig.
did you hear that?
Yeah, I did.
That's Craig.
That's great, huh?
Hey, Craig. What are we drinking tonight, boys?
Rum and pep.
Yeah.
I
Ben's got a rum and Pepsi.
Have a rum and pineapple juice.
All right. I have a Sweetwater 420 strain G13 IPA. It's a beer
Is that the one that
tastes
tastes like weed?
it tastes like weed.
Yo,
That's good.
that's sick. I've had that.
I
I'm
didn't get it,
drinking-
actually. I like it.
I'm drinking wine out of my replica Game of Thrones wine glass.
Amazing. I love it. I want to talk about Theros because I love Theros.
Like Theros a lot.
Okay.
Real quick, where's the itinerary that you put? Or do you want
It's in the chat.
It's in chat.
It is a
Oh,
it is a
there's-
very loose itinerary.
to? Okay, no, it's fine. I
It's
just couldn't
perfect.
remember.
Great itinerary. I love it.
Okay, great.
Excuse me.
No,
All right, let's keep burps to a minimum. We can't edit those out.
we're legally not allowed to. Yeah.
So I've drafted it probably like 5 times on Arena, and I've been black every single time. And I've like gone either one time I wasn't black, and that's the only draft that I haven't either gone 6-0 or 7-0 in, or 6-3 or 7-0 in
Like an
Oh, like
arena.
on. Oh, okay. Yeah.
on Arena. It's like I tried to do like white, blue, some shit, and it was like it looked fine to me, and then I just got dumpstered because other people played black cards.
Yeah. I had
I was
poor results with a red black deck, but I also went mono black and had like pretty good results with that.
God, black is so disgusting. So, like, if at any point in the draft you see Myers Grasp, you just take it. That's it. And now you're playing black, and that's it.
Which one's Myers Grasp?
It's
Oh,
the
the
2 mana.
-3.
yep,
yeah.
2 mana enchantment.
-3,
-3.
-3.
Aura.
I
Yeah.
have
That
first
was
picked that
great.
card.
Yeah,
I first picked it like twice, I think.
probably should be. It's good with Hateful Eidolon too, which is weird.
God, Hateful Eidolon is also
That's-
like first pickable. That card is also
Yeah.
insane. I had a draft, red black. I had a Hateful Eidolon and a Phoenix of Ash, and I just loaded that shit up. And like it died. I drew 3 cards. I played it again. Drew 3 more cards. It was perfect. I killed a man. Love it.
Had 2 Hateful Eidolons and that like Constellation clone in the
Oh,
draft,
God.
and I got them all out, and then I Myers grasped my opponent's thing and drew 3 cards.
That's
I was
nuts,
like, oh
dude.
jeez.
Is it whenever
Disgusting.
anything dies with an
Yeah.
aura you
Any-
control?
Yes. Yes.
But yeah.
It's so gross. I also I think I sent you guys this, but I opened Ashiok and like won every single game that was one that I actually went like 6-3 in, and it was because 2 of the games I didn't draw Ashiok, and one of them that I lost, I drew Ashiok, but my opponent had lethal. And every other game, I cast Ashiok and won off of just Ashiok.
Gross.
Card is unbeatable.
No, it is not. It is just unbeatable by limited decks.
No. It's really strong, like, or even just being in blue black seems really strong in the set.
I haven't been impressed by a lot of the blue stuff going on. I think that black white is probably the strongest color combo.
It's fair. I've been drawn to blue in this set a lot, blue and black, but I haven't seen a lot of blue white, so it's hard to say.
Yeah, white is just really good. Like you get Dreadful Apathy and Heliod's Pilgrim and Sentinel's Eyes are all like just crazy batshit insane cards, and you get to just like, if you also are playing black, you just get to style on people. Like it's incredible.
I've only
is
opened
Sentinel's-
like bombs.
So
Keep
what?
opening
Sentinel's
bombs.
Eyes. Oh wow. Sentinel's Eyes just good because the escape cost is the same as or it's just for one or for a white instead of like more than that, like most escape cards.
Yeah, it's a white and it's only 2 cards, so it's like pitifully easy to recur.
Oh,
And like there's so many cards that care about like, you know, Constellation or like, you know, Hateful Eidolon. Just like stuff like that, where it's you get more value out of it than just like the vigilance.
that's right. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's also a very good card. And the white black uncommon is like also kind of insane if you have any number of Dreadful Apathies in your deck.
Oh shoot! Did you hear about the paper draft that I had with Enigmatic, whatever it's called?
The fucking pod.
Yeah.
Yes.
I drafted it in when we did a paper draft or 1 week, and my deck was real greedy, but I was already in blue green like constellations or whatever, and last pack I got past a Dream Trawler. Yeah, and I had enough enchantment creatures to have like a pod chain into it if I was so inclined.
I am unreasonably jealous of you. I'm playing that deck in standard a lot. Like that's my ladder deck is pod.
Yeah, no, you've shown it to me, and it's kind of unreasonable.
Yeah, I don't think I showed Spencer or Ben. It's just like, imagine the blue-white control deck, but instead of playing good cards, you play green cards.
I see.
Green cards?
Like I'm playing like Omen of the Hunt and fucking God. Knight of Autumn's actually a pretty good card in this format, but the I mean, you're playing Enigmatic Insight, and you could just be playing, Dream Trawlers and Ashiok, not Ashiok, the one where Elspeth does shit. Elspeth Conquers Death.
Yeah, I think that was the name of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and counterspells. Like, that's just a better deck. But it's more fun to go to play 2 Enigmatic Insights and search up Yarok and Cavalier of Dawn when you have an Elspeth in play. Not Elspeth. Have a why can I not remember in play? Cards in play. Thassa in play, and you just target your Thassa, and you get 2 things for free, and then you bounce your Cavalier on the end of turn, and you get 2 more 3/3s, and it's just like, ugh. It's so good. I love it so much.
Very powerful. Jeez.
It is. It takes a lot of setup.
I'm pretty low on that card. The Enigmatic Invocation. I think it is a trap in draft.
Oh, it is. It is a trap. It is in fact a
Don't
trap.
for me.
I opened that card and I passed it to Joel, and then he took it.
It is fun as hell, but yeah, it's bad.
I got it to work out twice, which is probably 2 more times than I expected it to. Like, realistically.
Your deck was very greedy, but it paid off because
it
of
paid
Dream
off for no
Trawler.
reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
So
I think
Jacob.
the 2 times that I did it, I basically curved like Enigmatic whatever into the 5-drop Sphinx.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
end of turn traded the Sphinx for the Dream Trawler. And then my
That's
opponent
nuts.
was like, I can't win. How do I beat that?
Yeah, so Ben opened. It was pack 3. Ben opens Dream Trawler. Or was it you or Josh?
Josh opened Dream
Okay,
Trawler.
so Josh opened Dream Trawler, passes it to Ben.
I took Banishing Light over Dream Trawler as pack 3, pick 2.
And then Ben passes it. And then Joel sees it. And I'm sitting beside Joel. So that card would have came to me, and I was playing blue-white. So I was about to get handed the draft. Like, here's your
On a
3-0.
silver platter. Yeah.
I was looking at it real hard, and there was that, what is it, one with the stars or something? Because I was heavily in blue-green.
That card's really good
I was
too.
like, can I splash white?
I
do I just
think
take the
either card
removal?
is fine. Like, I think you just hate draft the Dream Trawler, or you just take the really good removal spell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That was a pretty good intro, right?
That was a pre-intro.
Okay.
All right. I'll start us off.